The Hurricane, with your favorite, Denzel Washington. Let's take a look.
In 1976, the state of New Jersey's chief investigator of this case, Dominic Barbieri, resigned because he discovered the truth. He discovered that this case was built on a foundation of forgeries and lies. Those lies show the guilt not of Reuben Carter, but of a corrupt police force and the prosecutor's office.
Have you seen this movie? If you haven't, go see it. If you don't know the story of Reuben Hurricane Carter, you should know the story. This is an amazing movie. It's a true story. Guy was incarcerated for a murder that it turns out he didn't commit. He was a famous boxer, basically convicted because he was in the wrong place at the wrong time. And at this point in the film, they've made it pretty far along where they're trying to get him out. They're trying to get him out of prison. They know he doesn't belong there, and they take the matter to the judge, and they're going right at it. They're accusing prosecutorial misconduct from the police department, forgeries, frauds, all kinds of just horrible things that apparently really happened here in America to someone that was innocent. And so I really recommend that you watch this movie. It's fantastic, but let's see what happens here in this final court scene.
And now this wall of lies has been destroyed so that this court may finally see the truth and pray God not turn its eyes away.
This court is not unmoved by your eloquence and passion, but the prosecution is correct. This petition contains new evidence that has not been presented before the State Court of New Jersey, and there is no legal argument that you could make which would allow me to consider it. Therefore, you have two choices before you. I can send this case back to the state court and you can present the evidence, or if you insist on proceeding,
this evidence will be lost to you forever.
So procedurally, this is a little bit complex legally. They went to federal court because they didn't want to be in state court. They didn't trust the state court to do the right thing. And the judge is basically saying, I'm not going to consider your new evidence. I'll consider everything else. But if you go forward with me today, you're never going to be able to make those new arguments again in the state court. Do you understand? Do you want to go forward? Of course, they're going to go forward. But the idea here was they needed to get this in front of a judge that was willing to listen, willing to be fair, and willing to do the right thing. And they just didn't think that that was going to happen in state court. Okay, so those of you who don't know, we have a lot of different courts here in the United States. We've got federal courts, we have state courts, we have local municipal courts, and they do different things. But here they've decided to go to federal court because they think that's their best chance of success. And let's see what happens.
do you understand the choice before you, Mr. Belda?
Your Honor, may I request a moment to confer with my client?
That's the smartest thing you've said all morning, Counselor.
Reuben, listen to me. This judge is telling us as clearly as he possibly can that he's going to rule against you.
This is our last stand.
Reuben, I am begging you.
Let's proceed.
So sometimes lawyers like to think that judges are telegraphing things. And when the judge says, hey, that's the smartest thing you've said all day, if I'm in that courtroom as a lawyer, I'm thinking to myself, hey, well, he's saying, right, that man, this judge he's not going to help us. He's going to rule against us. He's trying to tell us that so that we don't give up this new evidence. Reuben Carter, though, he's had it. This is it. He's ready to make his last stand. He's convinced that when the federal judge takes a look at the facts of the case that are available to him, he's going to prevail. Huge risk, but it's Hollywood, right? That's what you do. So, but we know this happened in real life, so let's see what happens.
Your Honor, my client wishes to continue with this proceeding.
Do you do so formally, and are you aware of the significance of such an action?
We do so formally.
Proceed.
But, Your Honor,
Yes?
the state is not prepared to proceed to argue the merits of this case.
Why not?
Well, we assumed that the court would not hear this petition based on new evidence.
You assumed wrong.
Let me tell you something as a lawyer that you never, ever want to say to a judge. Your Honor, I'm not prepared. That's just not a good thing to do. You always want to be prepared. You never know what a judge is going to do. You don't know what decision they're going to make, and you can't bank on it, for sure. You walk into that courtroom ready for anything at all times, because if you don't, you do so at your peril, because this judge doesn't care. He's going to make them go forward, and that's too bad for them. You really need to be prepared if you're going to be a lawyer walking into a courtroom. Bottom line.
Proceed.
So, Your Honor, this case was poisoned from the start. No evidence, no witnesses, except admitted liars. Only a racially charged atmosphere, which was fanned by the police and the prosecutors, who knew the truth and distorted it and subverted it and destroyed it to convict an innocent man.
What more can the state of New Jersey do, Your Honor, than give a man not one, but 2 jury trials? And nothing has changed since then. Mr. Carter is, and always has been, a menace to society. He's been in and out of jail his whole life. A criminal. He's a violent man. His whole life has been violence. And it is our duty, Your Honor, to continue to protect the general public from such a man. Thank you.
You notice how he didn't really say anything about the case? Just said, hey, he had a couple trials. He's got a history. What about the facts of the case? He's not making that argument at all. He's basically just saying, hey, justice has already been served. He's had his trials. He's done. He's dangerous. Keep him in jail where he belongs. So not a very compelling argument. But there is some validity to making the argument that, hey, you've had a jury trial. You've had your day in court. And I think he could have probably given a little bit more detail about that. But let's see what happens next.
I've heard your statements. I'll take them under consideration. Now, is there anything else that counsel wishes to add before I make my final ruling?
What are you doing?
I want to say something. Need to say something.
Your Honor, my client, Mr. Carter, wishes to address the court.
Request granted.
Thank you. I was a prize fighter. My job was to take all the hatred and skill that I could muster and send a man to his destruction. And I did that. But Reuben Hurricane Carter is no murderer. 20 years I've spent locked up in a cage, considered a danger to society.
Let's think about that for a second. Really, really think about it. 20 years in a jail cell for something that you never did. I don't think any of us can really process what that would feel like, what that would do to a person, what it does to our belief in our system of justice, that mistakes like this can get made to the innocent. And, you know, people like to make jokes about lawyers. We take them the best we can because to do what we do for a living, sometimes you really got to have a sense of humor. But the truth is, without lawyers, people like Reuben Hurricane Carter are still in jail. And there's lawyers out there that do this work and pursue justice for those that are wrongfully convicted, and it's hard work. It really, truly is. And it's just incredible when they're successful and an innocent man is freed. And I want you to really think about that, folks. 20 years of your life taken away for something that you never did, and what that would do to you.
Not treated like a human being, not treated like a person. Counted 15 times a day. I serve my time in a house of justice, and yet there's no justice for me. So, I ask you to consider the evidence. Don't turn away from the truth. Don't turn away from your conscience. Please don't ignore the law. No, embrace that higher principle for which the law was meant to serve. Justice. That's all I ask for, Your Honor. Justice.
This court is in recess.
So we're going to stop there. You got to go watch the movie. If you want to see how it ends, you got to watch the movie. I think you'll really enjoy it. Love to hear your comments about it, and we certainly appreciate you tuning in. Take care.